Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Did the kids ask you to do that?
That's
or you
my bedtime routine with my son. So
yeah. So it's nice. So
Yeah.
they may watch this and then they'll go, okay, look,
Yeah.
he opened it up with it.
And I never sing, so that's as much as you'll get.
I think every parent sings.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
just
that's
don't want to let everybody know that they sing,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
That's all. Like, I'm horrible, but
Yeah.
thank you, Carl, for opening up the show
No,
that
no
way.
worries, no worries.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you, man.
Honored.
I've been a
Very
fan
honored.
for a while, so
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah. We've been chatting for a little bit now.
Quite a bit. Stuff
yeah.
comes up, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden we're like, let's just like talk and stuff. But
Yeah.
I like the name. The business works, and then we were just talking off mic that you
Yeah.
got started on and off back in 2019.
Yeah. So going back originally in 2014, I had a business partner, and we started a landscape company because our background was landscape construction.
Hardscape Landscape.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
the owner we used to work for did a lot of renovations on his place, his cottage, his family places, so we were involved in that, so we already were familiar with it. So summers we did interlocking, all that stuff, and in the winters
You went
we did
inside.
small projects.
Okay, yeah.
And then just difference of opinions, I guess, and different work.
Listen,
styles,
everybody gets along, and then everybody
yeah.
doesn't get along.
Yeah, like
Right.
we went our separate ways, just split everything down the middle, and still talked after.
Good.
No
Good.
hard feelings, but
Yeah.
just
That's construction. You're not going to always connect with everybody. It's as simple as that, right? That's I've said it over and over. Like the hardest part in construction is finding your crew,
yeah,
finding the
yeah,
people
yeah.
that you want to work with.
That's right. Yeah, like
Right.
even now, I've been through a few trades that trying out, getting new ones. I reached out to you about a plumber. I ended up getting one of the plumbers that I don't know if he's been on the show, but he follows you, Exclusive Plumbing.
No, he
So-
hasn't been on the show
Yeah,
yet.
so he follows you as well. So I was just like kind of like,
Where's he
looking
out
like
of? Out
that.
of your area?
He's out of Mississauga, but
Okay.
I just had him on this Burlington job. He says he's in Georgetown all the time. That's where I primarily
doing a good
work.
job?
Yeah, he did fantastic.
Nice.
Clean,
Young?
very clean. Yeah, like in his, I'm gonna say probably in his 30s.
I think I'll be honest and say that I think that's the one trade we've had the most on the show.
The plumbers.
Plumbers.
Yeah.
There's been lots and lots of plumbers on the show.
Yeah. Let's
Electricians need to step up.
I'll save those contacts because I had some bad experience with plumbers, but yeah, there are good ones. I'm not gonna.
I haven't had a bad. I've had the crusty old Italian guys.
Yeah.
I've had the young hotshot guys,
Yeah.
but not really bad. I haven't had bad.
So the reason I reached out to you is I had I'm not gonna say any names.
No,
I don't put
of
anybody on
course.
the bus, but I had a young hotshot kind of guy. Claimed he had like.
Is it associated with IG and being a celebrity?
No, it was just more someone in town.
Okay.
His father was a plumber for years, and he's trying to branch off on his own, I guess. So I'm like, yeah, sure, let's.
Okay, the plumbing gene doesn't always pass down,
That's
right?
That's right. Yeah, and he was also like battling his own demons, and he just left me high and dry on a few job sites. I gave him 3 separate chances,
Okay.
3 different job sites. That
You gave him 3.
Yeah, I'm a people pleaser, right? So yeah, like he's a good kid. Like he's like talking to him outside of work, fantastic guy, right? But
Things are going on.
I think he had things going on, and then overpromised, and then underdelivered, and it just got to the point. I'm like, well, now it's my name tied to it, so.
That's a skill in itself for tradespeople, and especially with GCs, is the people part.
Yeah,
It's a skill in itself, and what I mean by that is like it's you need to understand how you can't just say something and not back that.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, don't say something because you assume that person wants to hear those words.
yeah, exactly.
If you're gonna say it,
yeah.
you better back it.
That's right.
Right?
So it's better to
Just tell the
underpromise-
truth.
Yeah, under promise and over
Listen,
deliver.
man, I
right?
can't make
So,
it this week. I got this job going on. I will definitely be here on Monday.
Yeah, which I had no problem. You
The-
call me
when
you
you're
do that?
told at that
Yeah,
moment,
yeah,
you have
for
no
sure.
problem.
But when
It's the guessing dating game or something
Yeah.
like that, and you're looking for another vowel.
Yeah.
No, it's not interested in doing
when I
that,
when I
right?
reached out to you, he came in, shut all the water off to this house, said he was gonna be back tomorrow. Wasn't back tomorrow. Wasn't back the next day. Finally showed up on the Sunday.
Clients are living there.
Luckily enough, they went away for the weekend,
That would've
but
been
he
a
didn't
pain.
know that.
Okay, yeah, he
Right.
just-
So and then my electrician was coming Sunday. I was going there Sunday with the drywall guy to like get all the measurements and stuff. I'm like, you can't be there Sunday. All your stuff has to be out by Sunday. Shows up Sunday. But
is he doing okay now?
I haven't talked to him much. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah,
He says he's getting his life together. So
we'll see.
I wish him all the best.
We're
Like I said, he's a good young kid, so I hope he.
When you say young kid, what is he in 20s?
Or I'm gonna say late 20s, early 30s.
Okay, all right. Let me share everything. At Reynolds_by_Karl with a K. Reynolds by Karl at yahoo.com. And then his phone number to reach him is 416-558-4499. And you're mostly in the Georgetown area.
Yeah, Halton Hills is
Halton Hills, basically, right?
Yeah. Like 90% of my work is there.
I'm wearing Mike. I actually like this one. This one's nice. I'll be keeping this one for a while. From Building Dreams Contracting. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. I got to do a little shout out to at HVC_construction. I was chatting with him on DMs. We were just going back and forth. And I know that Jason and Mike, we've been doing this whole full throttle 12-cylinder V12, whatever, therapy. And then he chimed in and he started doing a cigar therapy. And he's like, when we are going to start doing a cigar kind of collection, I was like, I told him already, I've got TCL branded cigars, right? If anybody wants them, they come to the studio. They're more than welcome to take one. And then he mentioned to me that he's currently working at the Milton Jail.
Oh, yeah.
As an excavation job.
Oh, nice.
And then I just made a joke by legally, you excavating to get some people out of there. He goes, no, but it's kind of funny sometimes. He says when they're there on the job site and they're working, the guys are in the windows looking out, and just you got this excavator digging, and you could see the wheels just spinning, right?
Map their escape.
So I just wanted to do a little shout out for him to that, but. High-Tech Concrete Cutting is a leading provider for all concrete scanning, X-ray, cutting, and coring throughout Ontario. They pride themselves in providing highest quality service in a safe manner, on time, and on budget. With the background, knowledge, and support of more than 30 years' experience from the owner Dan St. Ange, there is no job that they cannot quote or complete. Their fleet is equipped with top-of-the-line trucks and equipment, which eliminates any uncertainty for downtime and allows our highly skilled crews to complete your project without delays. Choose High-Tech Concrete Cutting for your next project and see the difference when dealing with the industry leaders. Find them at www.hightechcutting.ca and on Instagram at High-Tech Concrete Cutting. Do you dread the office? Are you spending your personal time on paperwork? Join the club. The good news is there's a solution that isn't hard or overwhelming. With Synced Up's estimating and job tracking software, you can plan for it and hit your profit goals, all while cutting your estimating time by up to 90%. Do you know where your money is going? Are you sure you're even making money? Synced Up will show you exactly where your money is going with its simple budgeting tool, revealing those cash leaks so you can take back control of your business. Do you wonder if all those payroll hours are making you money or costing you money? Synced Up tracks your unbillable labor, helping you optimize for project efficiency and ensuring each job is profitable. At Synced Up, they're here to help contractors thrive, not just survive. Get a budgeting consultation with a Synced Up expert looking over your shoulder to help you optimize your company's budget for free using the link in the show notes. If you love what you see, you can use the TCL discount and get 20% off on your first 6 months. Annual plan is required. Just click on the link in the show notes to book your call with the sales team and mention the TCL podcast. Check out syncedup.com and at syncedup on IG to level up your business. Hey architects and builders, do you want to stand out from the competition? Fraser Wood Siding has your back. Fraser Wood Siding is a leader in pre-finished wood siding. They manufacture beautiful pre-finished wood siding using only the highest quality PEFC certified Canadian softwood. Fraser Wood Siding is available in 17 profiles and unlimited colors, supplied by the global leader in paints, Sherwin-Williams. Whether your design taste is classic, contemporary, conservative, or bold, they've got you covered. They'll gladly match the color of any paint manufacturer and send a sample on an actual piece of Fraser Wood Siding in just a few days. Visit their website at www.fraserwoodsiding.com and reach out about your upcoming projects to benefit from their industry-leading lead times. Fraser Wood Siding, get inspired. Looking for cutting-edge solutions for your spray foam needs? Look no further than Elastichem Specialty Chemicals. With a remarkable track record spanning over 3 decades, Elastichem stands as an industry-leading supplying contractors across Canada with top-grade closed-cell, open-cell, and specialty foam products and accessories. Experience hassle-free spraying in both summer and winter with Insulthane Extreme. Canada's groundbreaking HFO closed-cell product. Time is precious, and we know it. Optimize your efficiency and avoid downtime by choosing the best products with the best technical and customer support. Elevate your spray foam game today with Insulthane spray foam products by Elasticam. Give them a try today. Visit their website at www.elasticam.com or give them a call at 1-877-787-2436. Time to sign up for Phil, the free construction marketplace and load tracking app for developers, engineers, and all contractors working in the civil construction industry. One other thing to mention is business and facility listings. Phil has the most complete database of quarries, pits, plants, and depots in Ontario, including all of the big names. So if you're looking for concrete, stone, asphalt, whatever, you'll be able to find it. You can also add your business listing or claim it. It might already be on the map. Sign up for free on the website at www.getphil.app. That's www.getphil.app. You can also search Phil in the App Store. Construction pros, brace yourselves for a revolutionary experience. HTGNA, your ultimate destination for state-of-the-art concrete floor preparation equipment, is about to change the game. Our motto, surface preparation is not just a task, it's our expertise, and your satisfaction is a guarantee. HTGNA isn't your average, it's a commitment. Our line of concrete floor preparation equipment stands tall as the epitome of industry excellence. Ready to take your projects to the next level? Dive into htgnorthamerica.com for a glimpse of innovation. Lock in a demo now and immerse yourself in the HTG NA experience. HTG North America, surface preparation equipment is our expertise, your satisfaction, our guarantee. Okay, back to you now, Karl. Yeah. I want to get a sense of, how old are you, man?
I'm 41.
Oh, you're young, man.
I don't feel young, but yeah, thanks.
And you got 2 kids? How old are the kids?
They just turned 4.
Oh, you got 2 brand new kids.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
4.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you were in construction working for somebody. How far back now? Was it construction was the beginning for you?
So I started off as a landscape maintenance, cutting grass and stuff like that. But like he had a construction division. I was always just interested in it. Kept trying to whenever, I would push my crew to be done our 5-day week and 4 days, and then Fridays we would help out construction side, right? Because I just always had a thing for it, right? So this was going back when I was 23 when I started working for him. Worked for him for over 10 years.
That's a long run.
Yeah. He's I learned a lot from him. He's a really good guy. He could be a real pain, but but that's where I learned my little OCDs, just keep job sites.
Were you learning more the skills of the industry, or were you learning more the business of the industry?
A little bit of both. Because the way he operated was if he liked you, he had you around him a lot, right? So there's funny enough, there's 2 twins that are pretty much run his company under him. One runs the maintenance side, one runs the construction side.
Okay.
And then the guy that does the construction side, he also was an arborist. So then they started tree division. So then when I went back the second time, I was kind of helping with the construction side, and then I had my guys under me. And so I worked a lot in his house, his cottage. So I was working kind of tight alongside. How
big was the crew? It was you?
So his employees, they're in the summertime would be anywhere 50 to 60 guys.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He's
outfit. Just off of Royal Windsor there in Southdown. So his primary bread and butter, I guess you could say, is the maintenance side. All the homes on Lakeshore.
Because year after year, it's
it's a guaranteed paycheck every month, right?
Yeah, we've had some young kids that are getting into it, and they see the value in that. It makes a lot of sense, right?
It's a little more secure, right? Because then every month you have to do this contract, right?
It's almost like a bus schedule. I mean, you kind of get to the properties, and you know exactly what you got to get done. You know exactly how to maintain everything, take care of everything.
Every month, either you're pruning this or cutting that.
Yeah.
Or, turning the soil, whatever, right?
So towards the end of the 10-year period of being with him, I guess you would have been in your late 20s, early 30s kind of thing?
So when I left, I was 32 maybe.
Okay.
Roughly, yeah.
And then you were getting the bug to I want to try something else?
Yeah, I was I was just kind of wanting to expand. I was doing little jobs on the side, which was exhausting, right? Working 11, 12-hour days and then trying to do something on the side, right? And eventually one winter, I normally didn't take the layoff. He kept me on in the winter, but I just kind of need a break. I'll still come plow for you. I just took a break, and then over the winter, I was okay, spring hits, I'm just going to hit the ground running. One of the other guys that worked there were we didn't have any jobs lined up. We just quit and then just said we're just going to start our own thing. And funny enough, 2 weeks later, he calls up. He's like, "Got a job for you guys. You want to do it? We'll build me a deck." So
The former employer.
yeah. He was upset that we left, and then even one of his managers was like, "Why are you hiring them?" He's like, "It's business. Nothing's personal." It's
That's
business,
exactly
right?
it. It's
so
business.
that's where I kind of
Yeah.
learned, right? Like he understood we wanted to advance.
He's going to make a
careers
little
and
bit of
stuff.
money. You guys are going to do a good job.
Exactly.
You're on your own. You got to
Yeah.
prove yourself.
And he knew what we brought
Yeah.
to the table because he trained us, right? So
He wasn't going to be. Was he surprised when you told him that you were leaving?
yeah, just because it was like
He was caught off guard by it.
yeah, and it was also like kind of impulse. Like I took the winter just to kind of like figure things out. I didn't think I was gonna quit, but
How was the significant other on that end? Was she supportive?
back then I didn't. I just had a girlfriend. It wasn't
Okay,
my wife,
all
right?
right.
So like yeah. Well, I think also one of the driving factors was like my girlfriend at the time. Like her parents lived like off Lakeshore, like big houses. Like we hung around with all the. I'm like, I need to get to that level. How do I get to that next step, right? Like,
Do you think
I
the
want a
industry
better
for the
life.
young guys, a lot of that is pressing on them?
I think it's definitely, especially with social media, it's like in your face that like, it's hard, right? Like,
There's a fine line on showing off.
yeah, exactly, right? So,
Like nobody, I want to go back. Like the older generation never really did that. And it was kind of funny that I recently came across some old pictures of one of my dad's first cars here in Canada where he allowed me to drive and I
Yeah.
wrecked when I was 13 years
oh
old.
wow,
Well, I partially blame him and I mostly blame me.
yeah,
You're talking about I think it was a 1980 or 81 chocolate brown Malibu station wagon.
my dad.
That's
wanted
the
those.
vehicle, right?
Yeah.
So the classic station wagons that you have the drop down tailgate, you
Yeah.
had the retracting glass in the back. You can put 6 kids in the back and be perfectly legal and safe and everything's
exactly.
fine.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
picnic, right? And the thing is, my dad was a mason, so all of a sudden he built these walls along the driveway, and he wanted to put these brick. And so as I was backing out of the driveway, I couldn't tell if the boat was going on an angle or if the boat was going straight.
Yeah.
So I went into one of the walls and I ripped out the spare tire wheel well on the bottom.
Yeah.
And he just smacked me over the head, and that was my first driving lesson, right? But what I'm trying to get at is that the fine line of the showing off of today's tradesperson versus the fine line of they never showed off
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
They did the work, and I would say the show off was delayed gratification, and the show off was I provided for my family, I paid for my daughter's wedding, I built them a house, I provide that's the showing off part.
Mom usually stayed home and provided for everybody, right? Yeah.
So it's a different mindset.
yeah, it's very different. Like by guys buying brand new trucks and when
Well,
they don't really
guys are
need
buying like
to,
the
right?
exotic cars, and the guys are buying like massive homes. And the thing is, I encourage it.
Yeah.
Like I want you and everybody that's in construction to reap the fruits of your skills.
Yeah.
But I don't like seeing a lot of it being thrown in everybody's face.
That's right. Yeah. No,
right?
I agree.
That's the
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
That's the fine line part that I'm not crazy about.
Yeah.
Where it's like, achieve it, man. Go ahead and do it, and enjoy it, and appreciate it, and hang out in social. But you don't always have to pick up the phone
Right.
and show everybody that this is what's going on in your life, right?
Yeah. I'm the same way, right? Like it was just more like a driving factor to like how do I get from just being an employee, being a number to actually
business.
like being proud of what I'm doing, right? Like even like you're talking about like showing off with the trucks. Like my truck's a 2012, and I have no intention.
You got
of
a good-looking truck there,
I have
man.
no intention of getting rid of it. It's knock on wood. It's haven't had any major repairs on
Carl,
it, right?
I'll tell you this much: it's probably running better than the brand new trucks.
Yeah,
man.
it's
I've heard horror stories with a brand new.
sucks
one,
on gas. Let me do it, but yeah, like it's
Yeah, okay, but sucks
yeah,
on
yeah.
gas on what? Like it just compared to.
So I just kind of Googled it. Like my year, I guess the 2012 was the worst year that GM came out with for gas assumption.
Just the engines or something like that?
Yeah,
in
I
general?
guess it's a small V8, so like it's I don't know, just my wife and we have a family cottage, we share with her sister and stuff. But it's a Perry Sound 3 hours. Like
It's a bit of a drive.
I drive up there, I have to take another tank of gas coming home. Like I could stretch it going home if I did 90 the whole way, but it's brutal. And then my brother-in-law has a Ford 150, probably 2000, around the same year, like 2 years maybe difference, but he's in Grimsby. and he could make it there and back on his tank.
I wonder what was with the engine back
Yeah, I'm
then.
not sure.
I mean, we're talking about days of Duramax, no? Or
Yeah,
like,
so it was a what is it? The Eco? Not Eco Beats, but like what is that? The different fuel that they try to push for a little bit.
you mean the corn stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. Like so, like it's mine could do both, but they don't sell it in Canada, right? So like, what difference did it make, right?
I saw a vehicle. It was like a GM EV vehicle.
Yeah.
Had all these bells and whistles regarding the transform capabilities of it, like the tailgate and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, is that accessible to the gas version of that vehicle? Because there was a lot of what I always liked about GM was the Avalanche model, where they had that back that collapsed, and then you could put a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did in this EV vehicle, where you literally could take out the window, pop it out, put it in the back of the tailgate, drop it down, and now
nice.
they're saying you could actually put over 10 feet of material
So
with a closed gate.
Fantastic.
And I'm like,
you don't need a trailer.
man,
or
that's
van,
insane.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then they compared it to the Fords and the Teslas and everything like that. But they kept on pushing the EV component aside. I'm like, just put all these bells and whistles in all your vehicles.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
trades will appreciate all this stuff.
100%. There was actually my father-in-law's friend was in love with the Avalanche, and then as soon as he had a new one, as soon as he heard they were discontinued, he bought a second one, put it in storage.
It's like GM has made some bad moves over their history of discontinuing some key vehicles and then keeping some other the Aztec. And then Chrysler with PT Cruisers and stuff like that.
God, I hate those things.
all of, and then you get rid of Avalanche.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like something that people use, trades use, homeowners.
And they also got rid of the other SUV, the Jimmy one, where the roof expanded, like it actually retracted. So it was like a mid-sized SUV.
When I was a kid, I wanted one so bad.
I love that thing. When I saw that, and the roof would actually go in, and then you could drop the tailgate, so you could put a larger item there and just tie it down. I was like, that's such a smart thing, man.
I love that thing when I was a kid.
Any person who buys a truck for the purpose of it being modified for the use that you need to achieve.
That's right.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
But then you limit everything by getting rid of these vehicles and then introducing other stupid vehicles.
And then like the one thing I liked about, I'm not a Ford guy, but like the one thing I liked about Ford is their back seats were always bigger than GM's.
Were they more space?
Yeah, so like even just like toolboxes and stuff like that, right? I wrecked my truck last winter or the winter before, anyway, bad snowstorm. My whole rear end had to get redone, but so I had a Ford rental, and then just like put my kids' seats in the back, was still able to put my toolboxes in there, and they were able to, like mine, it's only them and that's it, right? Like I can't put any tools in the back, right?
Is that like the universe, man? You're driving a Chevy and then the rental agency gives you a Ford?
Yeah. That's the only.
I guess you could look at it and go, at least it's not a Dodge, right? Yeah. I don't know, right? There's always going to be that rivalry between all the three of them, right? It doesn't make any sense, but I think all three are good. Mm-hmm. It's whatever works for you. And like you said at the very beginning of this whole thing,
they all serve their purpose.
It works, man.
Yeah.
You don't need to get the bells and whistles on. A brand new truck is over 6 figures.
It's insane. So I'll just get a trailer now. Like I was thinking, like get another box or a truck with a bigger box to have the short box.
Yeah.
Because when I bought it, 2012, I bought it brand new, right? So I didn't think I needed.
How many clicks do you have on it?
Almost 300, 290 something. Yeah, it's going strong.
I don't think people talk about how many clicks anymore. Eh?
Yeah, it's going
they
strong.
There's not a sense of pride. It's like it's more about the year and how young it is.
Yeah.
And I just switched it up for another lease.
But that's the thing. Like then they just trade it in, right?
You get all the sales guys that are really slick and they're always calling you up and it's like 18 months into your lease. Like, listen, I can get you into a new if you want right now. Won't cost you a dime. Just switch it. Just drop the keys and give it.
It costs you.
We all know there's money attached to that. It's never
right?
Won't cost you a dime.
Like your payments will stay the same. We'll just drag them out for another 12
but
years.
You got to, you got to drag it out or you got to just put a slight deposit on it to get it with because now I'm assuming if pickup trucks are going over $100,000, are they considered luxury vehicles now?
I'm not sure. That's what I haven't.
I think once you cross the 100,000 mark, it becomes luxury vehicle.
So does that insurance go up now because it's considered?
I'm assuming
the price tag would have to go up, right? Like if the price tag's that high, if you get into a wreck.
And there's a whole other scam going on with insurance because you always buy a vehicle that's safer.
Yeah.
But if you buy a vehicle that's safer but also more race worthy, then you counteract the insurance savings of the safer vehicle because they're saying that you're going to excessively drive it or something.
Just because it looks a little more.
But that's a whole business, right? Like that's what and I love that clients don't understand all these little things that factor into that one number that you give to them for the work that you're going to achieve, right? Yeah. They never factor in the time like you're spending in traffic, gas, the insurance on the vehicle, the maintenance on the vehicle. And if you were to get a new vehicle, that's going to reflect the price too as well, because you're going to have to, my lease payment's this, my insurance is on this. Sure, I'm saving some gas now, but here's your price now. Yeah. Because I have a brand new 2024, whatever it is.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like your overhead with your even business insurance that people don't even think about. They want you to have it, but they don't think that that's going to be part of the price.
There's a bunch of things. I mean, the whole WSIB safety and all that stuff.
Like people just like, oh, well, I could go get the tools and do it myself for this price, but
then do it.
Yeah.
I mean, then, simple.
Yeah.
Do it. Go.
And then call me in
when it all goes wrong.
Call me in a couple months.
When you figure out that you can't figure it out, then what?
Yeah.
I've had that, and I never gone back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We had this conversation.
Yeah. I actually just in Georgetown, I did a quote a few months ago for a whole basement. We weren't putting in a bathroom or anything. It was just like drywalling it, just finishing it, just so the kids had a space.
Yeah, rec room.
Gave him the quote. He sent me some pictures of on Instagram about these new like ceilings that you put like 1x6 boards, and then you actually use drywall. So like it's like a modern drop ceiling. Kind of thing. So like he sent me all that, so I did some research, like took the time. I've never done one, so I'm like, took the research, like what do I need for materials, send them off the quote. He's like, oh, thanks for the quote, I'm just gonna do it. Okay, yeah, no problem, go for it. Sure enough, calls me a month later. He's like, very humble. He's like, you know what, man, I gotta give it to you, there's a lot of work, can you come finish the rest of the job? So he finished the ceiling.
What did it look like when you got there?
Some work, like A for effort. But no, he was very humble, very nice. Like now like boasts about me. He's like that I came to like save the day. Like I didn't touch the ceiling. I like just did the floors for him.
Ceiling looked
like
good. It worked out.
The concept, I guess so, but it's lower than a traditional drop ceiling because like I guess maybe the way he did it, I would have tried to save some space. But like he used 2x4s for his blocking and stuff like that.
So was he creating like a sill plate that he would just drop this?
Yeah, and then the trimmed out by 1x6. I would have used poplar. He bought pine, so some of it's twisted, knotty, stuff like that. Of course, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's where I guess where the customers don't realize why the price is the price, because we're just using a better material that's gonna paint nicer, look nicer, right? Like we're gonna hand pick.
Someone sent me a DIY project that someone was doing in their basement, and so she came up with the idea, or if her husband came up with the idea exactly, traditional I-joists. Yeah. And then what they did was they ended up painting the bottom part of the I-joist, and then they just cut drywall to fit inside the saddle.
I saw that video online.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, but when I'm sitting there and I'm looking up at it, I see I-joists.
Yeah. Yeah.
I-joist sill plates are not always perfect. They're finger joint for the most part.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to putty patch.
Yeah, unless you're going to spend the time and
to do that, right? Yeah. I guess it's a quick DIY Pinterest project that
looks good on
looks great Instagram for post. You. It doesn't matter.
And but on the Instagram post,
for a professional, I don't know if it will look like. And not all I-joists are lined up exactly where they're supposed to be. No. So it's like you're going to get this variance going on.
Well, one house we did in Rockwood, some of them were like 9 inches apart, some were a foot apart. Like it was just so.
So what happens there?
It was even just strapping for the drywall guy. We're like, oh, man, like this is gonna.
I had a client in Bloor West. We did a job, old house, so the basement wasn't tall to begin with, right? It was barely, I would say, the bottom of the traditional 2-inch 2x8s. Was at about maybe I would say 6 feet, right? Yeah. So it wasn't that high, right? And then all of a sudden they didn't want to cover the ceiling up. They didn't want drywall. So the designer came up with an idea where we're just going to spray paint all the joists. We're just going to leave them all exposed. We're going to paint them white so it feels bigger. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, it's a wonderful idea, guys. It's great. Let's talk about all the mechanical. I got to move out of here now. Yeah. So it was all electrical wires, all plumbing lines. The HVAC was down the center, which was good, and then we were going to do 2 beams, so we were able to move the HVAC just slightly away from it. So then we kind of put it into a point, but the electricians literally had to reroute all the wires around this whole open area because we couldn't put any wires through this, and then we had to move 2 plumbing lines, right, to get around it, and 1 drain line. Yeah. So I mean, like, it's a great idea. But you really have to expose everything and find out, okay, what's running through all this, and it is going to be a headache for the electrician.
The price tag attached to that.
Because
right?
you can't put a junction box here and then extend it. You're going to have to pull all the wires right back to where they started.
Yeah, because then you don't want to see. You have everything open. And
we did it. We pulled it off. We
cleaned
it all up, but I could see it in the electrician's face. I was like, dude, this is like.
He's like, don't call me again.
He was billing for it, and I explained it to them, and it did work. Like when it was all cleared out, and you're standing there.
Yeah.
Sure, I get it. It's like 6 feet. It felt slightly larger. It felt slightly better, right? Because it was an old house, so it was plank subfloor, diagonal plank subfloor. So we sprayed everything. We're like, it looks kind of cool when you're just chilling out there. They had like a little kids area. They had a little TV area, nice. And they had a little kitchenette kind of thing there where they put all their booze, and that's where their drinks would be made and stuff. And then there was a bathroom, and it worked. It totally worked. And it was actually that basement was the hard point for them to sell the house and go buy something else. They were really reluctant about selling the house just because of that basement.
Because liked it so
they were like going, it was so comfortable to when it was done and they got in there and they used it. Yeah. They were like, it's really hard to let go of this basement, man.
Yeah,
there's some ways. I mean, I'm not a fan of the DIY ways, right?
No, and then it's just the attention to detail, right? That's the biggest thing.
What are you enjoying these days?
In the line of work?
Yeah, in the renovating part. What detail?
Honestly,
because you're tackling everything. You're doing a little bit of everything.
I like the finishes, honestly. Any kind of like mill work. I don't enjoy tiling. I've been doing more tiling, but I don't enjoy it.
I think tiling, once you've done enough tiling and you've learned, not the basics, but intermediate level. Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah.
Time for somebody else to take over.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was telling earlier. I got a guy, he's 25. He's really talented. And he's like a perfectionist. So like I let him do the tiling. Like I was saying, we're doing these 4x4 tiles. I'm just there with him to help him.
He's install them,
but he's not yet. He wants to. So I'm like, yeah, we'll have some tiles left over practice, man. Just go for it.
Just buy.
I have a really good tile guy that used to work for a builder that did work on like those high end streets in Toronto.
Or like Roseville or whatever.
Yeah, all down there. Like so he's used to like all those homes. So I've used him before on some of my nicer stuff to where stuff was gonna get mitered. We have a job coming up where we're doing a floating bench. He's gonna miter all that. Stuff like that. So, yeah, I have that guy for that, and then Tyler's like just my everyday kind of.
So there's a detail that I've seen quite a bit in construction that I think is going to become the new shaker of me hatred wise.
Yeah,
and it's like it's similar to this, right? But it's all the vertical.
The
slatted kind of ideas, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's becoming so mainstream now that I'm starting to see some suppliers sell it in sheets now. Yeah. Or they're getting into panels, like 12-inch panel versions of them. And they look, they lock into each other. Yeah. Less nails. You can just, PL it and put it. And I'm like, you guys are getting to the point where this is going to get really annoying, right?
Yeah.
And I was enjoying it. I was liking it. I was seeing the potential behind it.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to see that everyone is like going like, we'll just slat wall. We'll just slat wall.
Yeah. I liked it so much. I did it in a couple of places in my house, but again, like just minimal, right? Like,
but now people are doing the whole wall,
right? Like,
and then it's like, why don't you be a little bit creative and try something different? Or why don't you do something a little interesting? I don't understand.
I can't remember the name. There's a guy in Mississauga that now he'll get you a 4x8 sheet. And then you could choose your depth and width. You'll CNC it.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
And so now it's becoming mainstream, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of the panelized version of it.
Yeah.
I rather, this is individual.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass, but it's individual, right?
Yeah.
But it's also like, why don't we try different patterns? Why don't we try something different?
Right. And even with that, like that shows the craftsmanship with the spacing and everything, right? A panel's just
it's there. It's over and over.
Quick, right?
And then what do? You just notch out for a receptacle or you notch out for whatever. But I'm just saying right now that it's on the cusp of me putting it close to the shaker, right? Yeah. Where I'm not a fan of shaker. And I think I'm going to have to announce to everybody on social media where it's like, if anybody tags me or
with the fluted wall,
not a fluted wall, but the shaker, I'll tell you right now, if anybody's tagging me on white shaker, anything, I will not like it and I will not repost it.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a stand now. I'm not going to do it anymore because I want the clients to start changing their mind.
Yeah.
Like this morning I was on LinkedIn and I saw Chris McCaskill there out of London and he was posting this picture of this beautiful door, like beautiful door, looked rustic, and it was just, it almost looked like it was pulled out of a 200-year-old house or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he starts explaining the details on the door, and he's like talking about how this is a fire-rated door that we had to accommodate to make it look like the rest of the dwelling there that was being used for. But because of the OBC requirements, it had to be fire-rated. So I was like, there is an announce on that door that says fire-rated on it.
Yeah.
It actually looks like a beautiful old school rustic door.
See, that's what I love. Like, it's when you can...
That's when I think you should start doing something. So when it comes to the slatted wall, I would like to, like, I'm just spitballing and coming up with ideas or whatever. Why not make the spaces increase or decrease?
Yeah.
So you can, you know, a visual element
something
to
different,
it,
right?
right?
Yeah.
But you know what's going to happen before that happens, Carl, is that you're going to start seeing people accent lighting that the hell out of it before that happens.
It's already happening.
It's already happening. I know. And I'm like, it's
and now they have the half rounds.
I'm seeing that too.
They're coming in panels too.
I know. I'm seeing that too.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to get fancy, and they'll do other little details and other kind of profiles or whatever. And I'm like, me, I kind of like, and I'm still trying to get him. And I was just talking to him, Bella Italia, all the concrete, all the plastering, but he's not doing the he does a Venetian because clients are asking for it.
Yeah.
But he's taking these surfaces to different levels, man. And it's like I'm blown away by it because I can't describe it as Venetian.
Yeah.
What he's doing, it's not even knocking off natural stone. It's just what he's creating is just these textures and these feel on these surfaces that I'm like, this is where we should be going.
Yeah.
And we could be doing that with wood.
I want to try that in like a bathroom.
It would be beautiful.
With a shower. I've seen one video on it where they did a whole shower with it. I was trying to convince my wife, like, we should, when we blow out our bathroom, I want to
Fresca Harmony or whatever it is.
That's the name?
That's the company that provides the product.
Oh, okay.
You're getting a lot of drywallers nowadays. They're getting into it.
Yeah.
And I understand why they're getting into it. Because I mean, butt joints and nail pops, right? Like, I mean, that's what you're doing all the time. Corner bead, and that's it.
Yeah.
So they want to actually. I'm loving that I'm walking onto more job sites and I'm seeing full skims.
Yeah.
I'm loving to see that. And I think that full skims should be the norm. I think you should offer it to clients. And once the clients see the potential behind a full skimming of the whole wall, they'll understand why you should do it that way, right? Because we always, doesn't matter how well it's been sanded or painted or plastered, you will see joints, you will see nail heads, you'll see the spots.
Especially with our climates changing, movement of the holes. Like,
skim the whole thing, man. Yeah. I haven't met a plaster person who doesn't want to do a full skim.
Yeah.
They like it because there's a challenge there for them now. Then they start bringing out the derbies, right? Yeah. They've been having these derbies that are covered up in dust, and they're like, bring me to 10. You know what I mean? And just start skimming the whole thing at one pass, which
drywall guys are a whole nother beast of animal. Eh? I don't know how they do it every day.
Well, that was like
it's crazy.
The joke, right? About they're just one step away from being cocaine or something, or like, that was a joke. I can't remember. Theo was saying some joke about that. I wouldn't. There isn't one trade that I would do as a full-time for like 10, 20 years. Yeah. I can't see myself doing that trade. I think every trade you get in, hone your skills, get to management, run the business. Yeah. Right? And I'm not saying get there fast, but get there when you're ready to get there.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't think you need to spend 10 plus years.
Oh, like my drywall guys, he's like fourth generation. Like, he's like,
it's a lot of dust, man.
It's bad. Like, and half the time I go to my site and then he's not even wearing a mask. I'm like, where's your mask, Randy? Come on. He's like, okay, yeah.
just do that thing that this plaster guy taught me, man. Just pull up some of the sanded material, put it in your hand, and then pour some water on it.
Yeah, that's your lungs.
That's your lung.
Yeah, I told him that.
And he still didn't.
Like, he wears it, but like something, you're on the go. Like, he just won't put it on. Like, he's like, oh, I'm just gonna sand this quickly. Well, the sand quickly. That's like.
It's the guys with the cigarette coming through the mask that I don't understand, whether they're cutting concrete or they're doing drywall plastering or anything like that. Yeah. And their argument is that the cigarette is filtering the air that's coming.
That's what I say sometimes. If I'm just gonna make one cut. I have contacts on. It's protecting my eyes.
Right? Yeah, the safety goggles. We've all been there, man.
Right? I'm just gonna make one cut. Just one.
I know, but
it all takes one cut.
It takes one split second, man, and you don't want to damage the tools that are not replaceable. You can't walk into the tool shop and get a new hand. Not yet, right? The thing is, so it's like you can't do that. Yeah. So then you should take care of those tools.
That was just the one thing I I don't know if I heard it on your show, like one of your early shows, or about a guy, he was just snapping his X-Acto blade. Was that on your show?
It was Bryant.
Yeah.
It was Bryant
And then-
from Target, and he
Yeah.
didn't think anything of it.
I
Snapped
called
the blade
right
and
away.
went
I heard your show. I called my buddy because like my buddy was there. I'm like, man, just don't do that no more. I always like for me, I always took like a pair of pliers. Like I didn't never felt.
I always
doing
put
that.
it under my foot.
Yeah, yeah,
But the problem with putting it under your foot is that you might snap more than one.
yeah,
So then you lose more of the blade.
yeah. That's why I was just like did pliers.
I'd rather
Again,
lose
I
more of
didn't
the
feel
blade
comfortable
instead of
doing
an
it.
eyeball.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So I was always conscious of it. But yeah, and I think OFA actually has a little, looks like a mousetrap container, like a little round thing
Oh, okay.
that you can snap it in,
it has
and
its
it
own
goes inside the container.
Tool. Yeah, yeah.
And the thing is, they never promote it. They never share it. They never tell anybody about it. And I'm like, guys, this is the best invention ever.
Yeah.
You should always have this like maybe tethered to the actual old OFA knife or something like that. So when you need to snap it, it goes right inside this case.
And then what do you do with that little piece?
You just go around the job site, shake it as if it's
But like
maracas or something
the
like
piece
that.
that people aren't like, what are they just throwing in a garbage?
Yeah,
can?
but you can empty it out and throw it out, and then but it
Dispose
takes
it
care of the equation of this thing going airborne.
Yeah,
That's what it takes care of.
yeah,
But it takes one little. I mean, I've had plenty of guys on the show where Pato was talking about his first month of being an electrician, and he was cutting a piece of wood for blocking,
yeah.
and a piece of it just snapped and then went right into his eye, and he lost his vision.
Yeah,
Like it just takes
scary.
one little second. You got an electrician who's apprentice and getting into the industry using a table saw with a piece of wood to cut for blocking that he needs, and then all of a sudden, boom, the splinter of a piece of wood
Off the
just
bat.
went airborne.
Yeah.
It happens, man.
Yeah, I remember that one too. Like I was telling you, like I'm still episode 266, I think. I started from the beginning. So,
You're way in the old archives, man.
Well, when we talked last week, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start from the earliest one and now work my way backwards. So I listened to like the last 4 or 5 now.
There's a lot. You got to catch up quite a bit.
Yeah.
There's
So
a
I'm
lot
like-
for everybody, so they can pick and choose
Yeah, my drives are so short, so it's hard. Like 'cause I'm trying
to keep on going
Yeah,
up
yeah.
with them, right?
But,
I
yeah.
know. You don't have pets or any dogs or anything like that, eh?
No.
You get a dog,
Just
you
the
go for a
kids, the
walk.
kids.
I get guys who are they're walking their dogs, and they're like, "Yeah, I just heard this episode on my walk, right?"
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll get that from some
No,
guys,
it's
right?
perfect. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I got to get more electrician shows on those because those are usually the ESA guys or the Schluter guys talking about the wiring and stuff like that.
Yeah, like whose responsibility is that
I'm surprised that Schluter hasn't gone vertical yet or started promoting vertical yet.
for the shower walls? I want to. That'd be-
I'm gonna
just
do it,
sitting
and I
on
don't care.
Sitting on your bench. And
I'm
just
gonna
lean
do it,
back,
and I don't
relaxing.
care.
Yeah,
I don't like it's gonna it'll get installed, the wire will get embedded,
yeah,
and then the ESA will come by to inspect the floor, and they will not know because there'll be felt over it. It'll be covering it,
yeah.
and I know for a fact that it will work.
But aren't they doing it in Europe already? Or
Yep.
already? Yeah. So
That's
I
your.
don't know. Especially like being in the trays after work. Like I have like a little teak bench in my shower. I just sit down and then I just throw your head back. But yeah, it gets cold. You gotta.
There's nothing
gotta
worse than getting
slowly-
your shower when you are taking a hot shower,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you accidentally lose your footing or whatever, and you touch the wall.
Yeah.
That tile is cold, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that it should be heated. Vertical surfaces should be heated.
Yeah.
Plus, I know for a fact that I did a test in my own laundry. So as the seasons start to change, I have heated in the floors, right?
Yep.
And I turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
And if you leave it off and then the next day you come into that area there, it's cooler, atmospherically speaking.
Yeah.
Then I say, you know what, let me just turn it back on. So I just turn it back on. The main heat is not on.
Right.
Only the electric heat coming from the floor.
Yeah.
And you can feel the entire area, surfaces and everything
Yeah, 'cause
around.
it rises,
They're
right?
all
Yeah,
warmer.
heat rises. Yeah,
And I'm like, I know for a fact that if you heat the shower, heat the walls in the shower, whether it's an alcove or just 2 walls, I know that room will be a lot warmer
Yeah.
and more pleasing. Like there's a quick sense when you turn off your heat and you're switching to the summertime. And some people actually, some clients of mine leave it on all year long, right? You step on that stone, it's much cooler.
Yeah.
It just is because it just connects to the rest of the house and then it just stays cool. And you'll feel that in the soles of your feet because
Yeah.
most people walk around their house barefoot.
Yeah, barefoot or socks. Nobody really wears shoes in the house.
So
right?
it's like in the shower, go vertical. Like
So
I'm-
would you do a separate thermostat?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I'd do a separate line.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can control it, right? I would totally do that because I think your floor I would want at one temp, and I think your walls I want slightly lower,
Okay. Yeah.
just slightly lower, right?
Yeah.
I want to be able to control both of them,
Yeah, that's a good
right?
idea.
So then that way you could just put it, and I know that means that you got to start putting more thermostats, but they also have this cool thing where you can run them to a module now. So
like
you
a
could
main
put-
hub.
Yeah, you could do a main
okay.
hub, and then
Yeah.
you could park the thermostats like in a closet area, so they're out of the way. Because in my opinion, they're not attractive looking.
Yeah.
I always liked New Heat when they had the Harmony one, but they discontinued that because the Harmony one was a double gang.
Yeah.
So it could line up in your plates, right?
So you could put it like in your, like say, like your walk-in closet right before you shower. You take off your clothes.
How many times you got to adjust the thermostat on a heated floor system? Once or twice a year.
Yeah, not often, right?
It's not that
And they also
often.
have them on your app now. On
Yeah.
your phone,
So
right?
then why do you need them in the room? You don't.
Yeah.
Put them in the hall somewhere. Put them somewhere else. Put them all in a. Like I was on a job site in Toronto, funny enough, one place, and then he walked me towards the mechanical room because he knows I have such an interest in mechanical rooms, right? And like I saw like one of the most beautiful mechanical rooms ever.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the heated driveway, all the thermostats were all lined up. Every component that was heating the house, all the radiant floor systems, all lined up.
Yeah.
And I was like, all the zones. And I was like, why can't we do that for everybody nowadays in construction? Is all your kitchen floor is heated, your powder room is heated, your master's heated. And then I also got another post someone sent me. They're doing their countertop. Like, hey, Manny, I remember when you did that a couple of years ago. I'm yeah, do countertops
In the kitchen or bathroom?
In the kitchen. I do. I've done it before.
Yeah, because it's all stone, right? It's all stone, right?
That's not my idea. I got that from Seat when I was hanging out in their showrooms.
Yeah.
And I would be sitting at their island looking at samples, and I'm like, my arms are resting on the stone. And I'm like, why is this warm? Because we heated it. I was like, that's a pure genius idea. Yeah, then you get the cooking idiots out there saying, you're going to melt your butter. I'm like, I'm not that high in the heat.
Yeah.
It's just warm to get the curse of the cold off the stone.
We don't even keep our butter on our counter anyway. It's in our cupboard.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you want to stare at butter?
So it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't, and if anything, like it does, you're never going to, it's not going to be that hot. The point is that when you touch it with your sensitive elbows, your forearms or whatever, you can notice that it's not cold.
That'd be nice in the bathroom too. Like you wake up in the morning, you're like resting your arm or whatever. Getting
On the vanity?
Ready. Yeah, on the vanity.
I like it there too.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I totally like it there.
Yeah.
More and more people are doing wall units for vanities and they're doing a whole slab.
Yeah.
You might as well warm up that too.
Up, yeah.
I totally agree with that.
You keep talking about, I like your idea of doing the shower controls outside of the shower.
100%.
I want to do that.
That was a client's idea.
Yeah, I want to try that.
And he actually worked for Kohler, and he's the one that first brought it up. He goes,
Yeah.
Manny, I want one here, and I want one inside the shower.
Because once you're in the shower, really, like how often do you really adjust it, right?
I don't know a single person who doesn't pre-warm their shower before they get in.
That's what I mean. And then you go in, now your hands get soaked, right? Like,
So then I've been doing it ever since. He showed me that, and I was like, what's the cost now? You're basically buying a second digital thermostat, and you're buying Cat 3 wire. That's all it takes, Cat 3 wire.
it's still on Cat 3?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the funny thing. It's still on regular old school phone
Yeah,
wire.
yeah.
That's all it needs. It's just a trigger just to change and it just reads the other one. That's
Yeah.
all it does. So, and you're bringing it to the module, and then in all those modules, I think you could put up to 3 controllers on it.
Yeah. I'll reach out to you when my wife's ready to that.
It's
bathroom.
easy. Trust me, it's easy. You just got to run that wire, put it there, and then I always put it at the vanity. You walk in, everybody goes to the vanity for toilet or vanity first, and then you hit it, turn it on, and then you can even program it for the thermostat or the thermostat's degree, and then it's already running in the shower.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And then when you're in the shower and you want to change your heads or whatever, choose, you can.
Yeah.
But it's like, I would say $300 extra cost.
I mean, some of these things just should be standard. Like curbless shower, standard.
Oh, I totally agree with you.
That thermostat, standard, right?
I totally agree with you. Like it just, who's still doing curbs in showers? I guess you can't. Well, Schluter's got a package where you can just put it right on the subfloor.
Yeah, so you have to,
No, you have to
lower the subfloor a little bit, right? Yeah.
You gotta block it in between the joists, and then your subfloor becomes the top of the joist height.
Yeah.
And then you can drop in their tray, which makes sense to me.
Yeah, just the only tricky part is if the way the joists are running with your plumbing, if that's all lined up.
Yeah, you just gotta figure out. But then
figure
that would
that out,
dictate where your drain's gonna go.
Yeah.
And nowadays, everybody's putting their drain to the wall anyway. Nobody wants to drain in the center anymore.
Yeah.
Aesthetically speaking, I would prefer a drain in the center because I never liked the wedge on the tiles on the side.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's the one we're working on right now. There's going to be
I just don't like seeing that wedge.
Yeah.
Right. It bothers, especially, I mean, if it's a white tile, you'll never really notice the wedge.
Yeah.
If you're starting with a full tile and then you're going, you'll never really notice it. But if it's a pattern, natural, or whatever it is, you're going to notice it.
Yeah.
That's what the only thing I don't like about
with
it.
these big slabs won't, but I'll know it's there. But yeah,
It's going to be interesting, Carl, to see what the renovating trends are going to be 20 years from now.
Is it going to go back to teal?
I you know what? You're probably not wrong. I bet you any money you're going to get a lot more traditional stuff coming back in.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely think that the live edge is dead and buried.
Yeah.
I think that only a handful of people are still doing that. I think they're trying to keep it alive by doing the epoxy connection to live edge thing.
But that's also been happening for a while.
That's becoming
too,
to death as well too, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't work for everybody. It works for boardrooms. It works for commercial applications.
Yeah.
In your home, do I really want the backside of an alligator crawling out of the top of my table, or do I want a whole Star Wars layout thing?
When it first kind of like became popular, I was like obsessed with it. I was like doing little tables, but that was 5 years ago now. Like I just haven't.
But it's dead and buried now,
haven't done one
right?
since. I still have it. It's in the basement.
I can see the slat wall going that route too.
Yeah. The only thing I'm thinking about is maybe incorporating, because I want to build like a Lego table for my son. So I was thinking like maybe epoxy some Lego
I've done
parts
several
and
of
stuff
those,
like
man.
that. You done a few, yeah.
You know how I did it?
With what?
I did it. Bless you. When I went to Toys R Us, they have a really crappy version, right? I don't know if you had a chance to go to your.
Yeah,
Toys R Us.
I've seen that. Yeah,
This is a long time ago, where they put a stupid bag.
Yeah.
So they have a table and then they have a bag in the bottom part of the table.
Yeah, I want to do some kind of trough system or something.
That's exactly how I did it. I did it as I was looking at gutters.
Oh, okay.
And so I basically built the table, like take any size table you want,
Yeah.
and then I just built the trough around the whole thing, and all the pieces fit in the trough.
Oh, okay.
Around the whole thing, and then I contact cemented. Lego sells the sheets.
Yes, yeah.
So I think there's 16 by 16 inch sheets.
Yeah,
or
like my
that.
son just got some for his birthday.
Yeah, so you make the table to the increments of those sheets, contact cement it down, build the trough around. I painted the trough black, so then now you can see all the pieces.
Yeah,
right, and then
everything, yeah.
all the pieces are all the way around, and so then when the kids are working on it, they can pull whatever piece they want.
I was just kind of thinking maybe I like that idea. I was just thinking like in the table just router out and then have like maybe in each corner have
won't be enough space. It won't be enough space for all the pieces.
That's true too.
That's why when I gave it to him, I did it for two. I did it for my nephew one time, and then I gave it to a friend of mine for their kids. And as soon as I dropped it off and they put all their pieces in, it filled up the whole trough on the perimeter. One table was 3 by 3, the other table was 4 by 3. And it filled the whole perimeter trough.
Really?
All their pieces. Kids have a lot of pieces, man.
Oh, I know. Oh, my son's collection is just starting. It's already a lot. so
that's why I just said, forget it. I'm gonna do just all the perimeter.
That's a good idea. Yeah, because I probably like a 4 by 3 or 5 by 3.
It worked out great.
Right?
I had people telling me you should start mass producing these and selling them, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get into that world. I should have went into that world, but I can only assume that you could probably find it now on eBay or something. Somebody's making it.
I just want to find something. I just actually. Yesterday I was at Exotic Woods. I was just looking around, like, what kind of wood can I use to? I want to make something cool.
What kind of wood is good these days? Like what?
I don't know. Just something like
everybody's going to walnut.
Something
these days.
different, right? Just something that's not pine. So I don't know.
What would be a good wood these days to play around with? But then you get in the exotic. It gets really expensive.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was just thinking. If just maybe I just do the legs in it, and then maybe just the trim around, and then where the Lego is gonna be, just plywood that because the Lego's covering it, the sheets. Just do like the whole frame of it only.
It works.
I don't know.
I like the mixture of the two, especially light and darks. And you can, if you do it in a creative way, it actually, when you finish it off or whatever, sand it or mill it or whatever, it gives you a nice.
I like the in the sap maple. I like the grains in it and stuff like. I don't know, just something that's just not. Just when people walk in, they're like, "Oh, where'd you buy that wood? Home Depot?" Like,
You know what? That whole exotic woods and also the wood shop and stuff like that. That's an interesting world because I guess there's brokers or there's distributors that they harvest all this wood and then they're selling it to different markets around the world.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming just like a container shows up and then all of a sudden they sell it to a majority of distributors that are in Canada.
Yeah.
And they're like, here's the slabs that we have. Here's whatever species that we have. And then I guess it's a bartering at that point. Or like, I don't know how it would work.
I'm not sure. Like I only go because I'm in Georgetown. Like I don't get to go there often. But yeah, like I don't know how their whole.
But I'm trying to figure out how
works,
they keep on replenish all that stuff and what
they have to have multiple suppliers.
Yeah,
right?
and what are they paying for it if they're charging this much for you? Because that number has just gone up through the roof ever since COVID days, right? Yeah. Like I remember when walnut used to be reasonable, and now walnut's ridiculous. White oak's ridiculous.
Well, there was one small chunk. It couldn't have been higher than 3 feet.
How much?
I think it was $430.
How thick?
2.5 probably. Yeah. maybe 18 inches wide.
Makes you want to drive around and look for walnuts, right?
Yeah, just cut them down. Do it yourself. Yeah. But again, like you were saying, like walnuts kind of
it's nice,
overdone.
But it's I like seeing new. I saw someone recently do a turn on a lathe, and he actually did it really interesting. The way he glued everything up, he mixed walnut with a lighter wood. He put it into a checkered pattern into the wood.
Oh, okay.
But his objective was to lathe it, and he was creating the leg of a table, a coffee table. So it was almost like a funnel, and then it was a spiral, and then it came back out. And what was really fascinating about it was the light wood that was in the checkered pattern and how it was lathed and carved, because he drilled right through the core of it, and then he also laid the outside of it. So you can literally go right through, and he put a light inside there.
Wow.
And so all you saw was like these really beautiful lines from the light wood, and it just went with the carving of it.
Yeah.
And I think he was saying like 140 hours of work on that. And I'm like, it's pretty nice. That's where it's like you start to challenge yourself and do some stuff like that.
Yeah, it's nice probably for people to try to sell.
But then,
that
like you said, what were you saying? $600 or
well, it was like $400 or something like that.
$400 for that small piece of wood.
Yeah,
that's where you're starting at.
Yeah,
and now you want to build something.
Yeah. There was this one guy posted. He does a lot of the live edge stuff, but he did a thing about how much does a table cost, and he just broke it down. Sanders are this much, pads are this much, epoxy's this much. And by the end of it,
wait, he was factoring in the cost of the tool.
Well, just like he was factoring in the hours of like sanding, but then he was factoring like the pads, like the
pads
sanding pads and stuff like that, right?
You got to factor in a percentage of the tool.
Yeah, you can't just say like $400.
Yeah, and that's part of it. No, because you're going to reuse that tool somewhere else.
Yeah,
but the pads, you're going to be using it completely, and then it's done, right?
Yeah, I think the way he actually had it was like, so say he had the big massive buffer, it's like almost like a car buffer. I think he only put like $40. So I guess that's for like the hour kind of charge.
Just for the time.
Yeah. So yeah, but it was broken down. I can't remember what the final price tag was. It was like maybe $7,000, and just that's without even selling it. Right.
I believe it.
Yeah. So,
it's a one-off.
Yeah.
Craftsmanship, right?
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. People pay for that. There's people out there. You just got to find them.
Yeah.
The majority of us can't, but we can make it.
Yeah.
But then you got to do the homework to sell it.
That's right. Well, that's a thing too, is when I kind of started getting into like the epoxy and stuff like that, I was like, okay, now how do you sell these things, right? Like there's so many people out there now. It blew up quick. So I was like, yeah, just keep doing what I'm doing.
They're mass producing it now. They're all kinds of stuff like they're
I went through a little phase where I was just kind of like, okay, how can I just like narrow it down and just like focus on one thing? And I just feel like I get bored. That's why I like GCing, right? You do a little bit of everything. And
how are the clients in your neck of the woods? Are they
great? Really good.
Are you working with designers? You're working directly with the clients mostly? You're bringing up all the design ideas.
Yeah, I haven't worked with designers yet. There's a few good designers in Georgetown I chat with. I haven't used one yet. A lot of people with the internet now, right? They come with their own ideas.
They'll come up and they'll just give you a whole scrapbook of ideas?
Yeah, Pinterest, Instagram, like, here, can you do this? Can you do that? So I tell customers, you show me the picture, I'll make it. Right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, so that's
because they find the picture, but they don't know how to make it.
Yeah.
They think they know how to make it.
Yeah. With customers, I try not to push my opinion. I just say like, yeah, this might look nice, this might not. I'm not going to say, don't do that. Like that's a bad idea. Like it's
something like what?
Well, just like design wise, right? Like it's just like what I always tell customers at the end of the day is like, it's your home. You have to live in it. Yep. You have to love it.
Yep.
Like, do you like it? I'm like, well, it's not.
Don't ask me that.
I might hate it, but like with shakers, right? Like, you can still make shakers look nice, but you're not going to put it in your home. You don't like it, right? Like, you're not going to tell a customer, don't do it. You're just going to say like, well, there's other options, but you choose what you choose.
What do you think the number one reason is for shaker? Resale?
Resale is just, I think it's just like a timeless look. I guess it's safe. Right?
I would say safe.
It's safe, right?
I don't know if it's a timeless look, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's
I'm still trying to figure out when shaker started, right? And I'm kind of doing my homework based on watching movies.
Yeah.
So like if you watch a lot of movies in the 80s, you'll see a lot of glass block. Like if you watch Christmas Vacation, everybody watches Christmas Vacation every year, right? There's a a ton of glass block in a
I
neighbor's
hope
house.
they don't bring that back.
I can't stand glass, but you're seeing it in commercial applications.
They're bringing it back in commercial?
Oh yeah, you're seeing it in
man.
retail stores. When I was walking around, I saw it in some
Like
retail
the same style or a little more modern
so
kind of?
You know what they're doing? They're trying to get clever by using the old school glass blowing technique. So they're trying to do like a little bit of a bubble
Make it a little more
instead of
artsy.
just And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's still an 8-inch by 8-inch glass block,
Yeah.
right? So I just, like when I watched the '80s movies, there was no shaker. Because you were dealing with pastel colors, you were dealing with paneled kitchens for modern looks, or you were dealing with red oak with
Red oak.
the classic red oak ones, right? Colonial pattern.
Yeah.
But I'm still trying to get to movies where I see shaker. And then I think the film and TV industry hated it so much, and maybe that's why I hate it, that they never even put it into movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why we're not seeing it. And I'm trying to figure out, I wasn't a big Sopranos guy, and I don't even think I see it in their house.
Yeah, I've never watched Sopranos.
I'm trying to figure out who was using shaker, at what point in history was it being used, because our industry only uses shaker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are we so embracing it when we look at pop culture, it's not embraced?
Yeah, it's just mass produced, easy to get. I guess that's safe, right?
It just goes back to safe and resale, I think.
And then you.
I think deep down,
let's paint it blue. Let's paint it black.
I think deep down clients hate it, but they just don't want to say that they hate it.
Yeah.
They just want a white kitchen that's like timeless, so to speak, safe, and they could resell it.
Yeah, we're gonna be redoing our kitchen. Luckily enough, my wife she likes like the more wood flat panel kind of. Like perfect.
It was nice to see. I was at a friend's, and he's a trim carpenter, and he recently finished his kitchen. I was like, I like it. And he did a glossy gray and a beautiful gray tone. Yeah. Flat panel.
Yeah.
I was like, I like it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm kind of like going back and forth is like, do I want glossy? Do I want less? A little more matte? Like that's still.
It's difficult. You know how I kind of solve that? Don't do any uppers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so anti-upper.
Because the way we have almost like an L-shaped kitchen. I was thinking the one side where the fridge is just do like a pantry style, and then the rest no uppers, and then just a nice hood. Kind of like maybe built-in hood or
makes the kitchen feel bigger, man. I'm telling you that right now. Going back to that basement idea about no ceiling and rerouting and everything, you get rid of uppers. You can choose a really beautiful tile for your backsplash. Let it go all the way up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
You can get some nice pieces of wood that you can custom make these shelves yourselves.
Yeah.
And then even if you wanted to get the kids involved, whenever I've done concrete for jobs, clients, and they have kids, I was like, listen, do your kids want to put their handprints or whatever in there? Like, that's a good idea. We didn't really think about it. I go, do it. Here, the concrete's here. It's wet. It's ready to go. Do it. And they did it, right? And then so you can do that with the shelves. You can do a little signature on it. You can carve it on the side and it's a custom shelf, right?
That's right.
You can't do that with upper cabinets, right? What are you going to do with that? So I think a kitchen, because the kitchen is still the heart, even though the furnace is the heart of the home, the kitchen is still the heart of I would say it's the soul of the home.
Yeah.
Right. So everyone's, that's where you see growth rulers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so the kitchen should have a reflection of that.
Yeah.
And anybody who's going to sell that kitchen, sell that house, it belongs to another family that's going to rip it out and do what they're going to want to do to it.
That's right. Yeah. Like when we have gatherings, like we're never in the living room.
No, it's
we're all just like around the island.
It's a kitchen.
That's the only one thing I want to do. I want to get rid of the sink in the island. Just such a
sink is in the island.
Yeah, and I think like
it's not by the window, or there's no window.
Well, there is, but there's no cabinetry there. There will be when I redo it. But it's just kind of feel like everybody's gathering, and then someone's always in front of the faucet. It's just like
because it's right in the island.
Yeah, so it's just
I'm not awkward. A fan of secondary sink in the island. Yes, if the kitchen's large enough for that,
and like a smaller one, not like a full
a bar size one, right?
Yeah.
And if anything, it would double for the ice container that you could put all the beers in or whatever you want to chill stuff, right? But I'm also not a fan of cooking anything in the island.
I just want it clean, just for
island is a prep, chill out, eat.
Yeah.
I've been finding that I'm standing and eating more often these days instead of having to sit formally in. Like nobody has a formal living room anymore. Nobody has a formal dining room anymore.
We have one. We don't use it.
That's what I mean. They don't use it.
Yeah.
So it's like you should make the kitchen the soul of your home.
Yeah.
And it should reflect that.
Just like you're saying, like we have the stools around. My wife and the kids sit at the stools. I stand on the other side and just so we're all seeing each other. So you
prep the meal together and then you enjoy the meal together.
Yeah.
And then you have like little bumps and bruises and little nicks, and it's like it's being used. And that's the kitchen. Character.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
And our kids are at that age that they want to help with dinner. They're like, even when I'm doing anything outside, like my son's right beside me most of the time, right? So
that's what it makes a lot of sense.
he gets bored quick, but he's there, so it's good.
Does he get bored quick?
Oh, it's just because like if I'm doing something.
What's the one thing that he likes doing?
Just honestly, anything, just helping. Just like he just wants, like whether it's
grab this and grab that, carry this,
like,
bring this.
Yeah. Like, so I got him a little tool belt. He has a little wheelbarrow. He has his
little mini everything.
Yeah. So I ended up getting them both. My daughter's getting more into. She's very coordinated with her hands. Like so, like I had him like even drilling. I think I posted one video where like she did way better.
I saw that. Yeah.
She did better than him. Like just like, and that was her first time using an impact gun. I'm like, look at you, you're hired. But yeah, no, like just anything that like they're just at that stage. They just want to help. Right, so
they just see something being built.
Yeah. They're like, can I help?
You still have time to build things for them and just trying to get some stuff done for them.
Well, yeah, that's what we're trying to.
Are they giving you a list yet?
Well, the Lego table is going to be one of them, right? My daughter wants a pink door for her room.
A pink door?
Yeah.
On both sides?
So I think the one side I'm going to do the black and then the other side pink. Because all our doors are black, and so I think her
I like
side
the one side pink. Yeah, that makes sense.
I just got to find the right.
The rest of the wall is going to be pink.
She wants everything pink. So I don't know. We're trying to figure out where it's tasteful, right? So do we do the walls are very light pink and then a little darker on the door? Like I don't know. We're still playing with the idea. We let her look through the color wheel. And
You're right about finding the right pink, right?
She's going for
if
the
you
bright.
The really bright one?
Yeah, that's what my daughter's picking. She's 4, right? She's like, I like this one. I'm like, I don't know. Let's go a little softer.
Start talking about how light's going to react, like when it's nighttime, when it's morning.
Yeah.
Try to figure it out.
Yeah.
My first thought when you were talking about the whole room being pink is if you were to spray the corners or the trim a slightly shade darker pink to the rest of it.
Yeah.
So then it would add like a grad to it or something like that.
Yeah.
And it would give it some depth, right? And that would look really appealing at night.
And then the door, same as the trim?
The door is the same. Yeah, the door. So I would do like the door trim base and the corners of the rooms and then the top part of before it hits the ceiling, that slight shade. But you'd have to spray it to make it look like a grad, right? And I'm only suggesting that because I think it would look really nice when it's like time for bed and it's a night light on. It would look really cool because it would make the corners and the trim and the door look slightly darker.
A little
and then you would be like, okay, it's not so poppy pink, right?
Yeah.
Because there is that death pink that you don't want, right? Like that really bright, ugly pink that's going to be horrid. Yeah.
The good thing is they're 4, so they don't have final say yet. Or maybe they do.
They'll discover one day that they will.
Yeah. Well,
I don't mind the pink eye. What's he going to want then? Is he going to want blue?
So he's like all over. Like one day green's his favorite color, one day orange is his favorite color.
I'm surprised the kid don't ask for camel.
Yeah.
Camouflage.
Yeah. Just like
I would totally dig a camouflage room.
Yeah. It's just when my son said orange, I was like, how can we make
orange?
Yeah, like he changes colors what he likes, right? Sometimes he likes blue, sometimes he likes green.
Now you got to go to Home Depot and start stealing stuff.
Paw Patrol. You ever seen Paw Patrol?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so the characters, right? He switches which character he likes. So he liked the one blue character, he wanted everything blue. Now he likes the guy that's orange, he wants everything orange.
He's got 4 walls and he's got a ceiling. So he's got 5 options.
Yeah,
no?
I'm okay.
Orange? I don't know about orange, man.
Yeah, I know. How do you make orange look good on a wall?
It's going to look like Halloween or Home Depot. 2 things that you don't want it to look like.
Yeah.
Tell him to go camouflage.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah. He's not really, the good thing about him is he's not really pressing about his room. It's more my daughter about the door.
What color is it now? Like a neutral?
Oh, it's just like it's the same when we bought the house. So it's like a very light gray.
Okay.
Oh my God, when we bought this house.
And then the trim's all white, right?
Yeah. Right now. And then the only thing is just the doors went dark since we moved in. But yeah, we'll see what happens in August. We're probably going to do our main floor, all the doors. It's a bungalow, so it's pretty much the whole house. But we're going to redo the doors and trim and stuff. Switching everything to the Tudor style trim.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
I love Tudor.
Yeah, it's nice.
One of my favorites.
What size base you going to go?
Like 7 and a quarter.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's good that you're not going to step bevel because that's right behind the shaker for me, man.
Yeah,
I hate step bevel.
I won't even... I'd rather show a customer flat stock over step bevel. I don't know why.
100% agree with you on that.
And then just like Colonial, it's just too builder
Colonial
grade.
is just way too builder grade.
When
I see Colonial, even though it doesn't have finger joint, I see finger joint.
Yeah.
It's ingrained in my head.
And the thing with the Tudor is like people are like, well, I want like you have all the flat, so it's still more modern, but then it has a little traditional
Tudor's a nice
on
profile.
top, right? It's like it's
Tudor's a really nice
perfect.
profile.
Right
It works for
right?
both on the casing and also on the base. Plus, with a Tudor, if you wanted to, you can go apron on the window. It looks nicer.
Yeah.
You can do a sill and do an apron on that, which I think still looks nice.
Yeah. Huge fan of backbanding all the casings and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like this is all nice stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna take a little while.
Yeah.
One room at a time.
Yeah. The good thing is, my wife's a teacher, so in the summer she could take them up north, and then so we'll just see how things go. Like
so maybe they'll come back one day and all of a sudden my room's pink. It's great.
Well, that's the ongoing joke with the houses. Like whenever my wife goes away for the weekend,
they assume that
I do. Like the last time I took down like this little, I guess you ever been like House Sigma? So you could so you could see the stages of like the renovation your house been through.
Yeah.
So the previous homeowners took down one wall on the left, but put another wall on the right. But then I like when you open the door, I want to see right through the house. I want to see into the backyard.
Yeah.
So this one wall was just blocking me, and my wife went up north, and then I just
took it down?
Like 8:00 at night. I'm like, I'm taking this thing down. And
Was
then
it load bearing?
No. They added it, and
They just added it as a partition kind of
like
thing.
Toenail, one screw only on one side, nothing on the other side. It came out so easy, like 15 minutes, the wall was down.
Why
no
did they
mess.
put it in the beginning? Like
I think they just wanted a little separation from the kitchen and their like little sitting area, but it was only 2 feet. Like it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. I think maybe they had something there, some kind of storage. That's why they put it there. I don't know.
Are people afraid of light or something like that?
I don't know, but
I don't understand.
Because of my landscaping background, like my backyard, I planted all these trees, I lit everything up. So like I want to open the door and
see it,
right?
See it, exactly.
Yeah. So and then what did I do another time? My wife came home, like I had like a whole bathroom repainted and stuff like that. It's always when she's gone.
So it's always like kind of Christmas morning when they show up and they're like, okay, what did you do now?
And then she's like, we needed to talk about this. I'm like, I know, it's just kind of impulse.
Well, we don't need to talk about it now.
It's impulse. Yeah, it's done. Yeah, it's done. Just impulse. Yeah, other time she left, I put a fireplace in the bedroom.
In her bed?
In our bedroom.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Speaking of fluted walls, I did the like white oak fluted, but that was one of my few fluted.
But it looks good. I mean, you did it as an accent to the fireplace, though.
Yeah, so it was just like an electric linear.
Yeah, but you didn't do the whole wall.
No. It's just only because it comes out 6 inches, so I just like wrapped it to 6 inches, and it's 5 feet.
Yeah, which makes sense to do that.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if you use it correctly, creatively, it works. If you start looking at walls and just go slap all this.
It's so busy too, right? When people say, like, how much do this whole wall? I'm like,
I guess maybe guys are jumping on this bandwagon because they can charge a pretty penny to certain clients.
And it goes in fast, right?
And it goes in really fast. It's not hard to do, especially the panelized versions one. They're like, good, we made a lot of cake and we're happy about it. Let's move on.
Yeah. And then Home Depot sells the ones that are vinyl wrapped. You don't even have to paint them, spray them, anything. You just...
Really?
Yeah. So it's MDF wrapped.
They're thermofoiled.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so you could get a white oak, a little darker.
Oh, wow. They just got bumped
black,
up to shaker now. I just grouped them now. That Home Depot's doing thermofoil.
Yeah, so that's where I saw the half rounds. So the same company, I'll send you I can't remember the name of the company. Same company does the half rounds now, and same thing, different options, black, white, and then 2 wood tones. But it's 4-inch tongue and groove, just kind of like pop in.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, man. I don't get it. Like listen, I'm not a fan of so much drywall surface. I think that ceilings and floors, like clients spend so much time and effort on the floor, choosing their hardwood, spending so much effort on trying to figure out samples and what's going to be the best way to go, how wide, what color, what tone, all that stuff. But they keep forgetting about the effort should be made on the ceiling.
I'm 100%.
I can't stand flat
100%.
paint, like just flat ceilings. I can't stand it.
In January, we had a townhouse in Mississauga that we were getting ready for sale. So I just took like all of January off, and I was just there working out. And then there's one that I did just shiplap with a spine down the middle because the boards weren't long enough. So I just wanted to figure. I don't like when people butt shiplap and then so it looks like more rustic. I like the more cleaner.
Yeah.
Like if the lengths aren't long enough, you just like butt it up
exactly.
and then you try to patch it and paint it. Like eventually it cracks, right? So I did like a nice thick spine down the middle and made like 4 squares.
Nice.
And then the next bedroom over, I did pretty much the same thing, but off-white with the spine and then barnwood. And then just, again, did nothing else to the room, just that. And then like even when it sold, like our real estate agent said like, yeah, it's just the ceilings.
The ceilings were the
ceilings and like just like, yeah, like it's, Yeah.
Because that's exactly what's going to sell it.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to start paying attention to the ceiling now. The room is going to feel more homey.
Yeah.
And that's why people are going to appreciate it. Nobody ever wants to do it. They want to find the picture on Pinterest,
Yeah.
but they never want to spend the money or the time and effort to do it.
Yeah.
But we know how to do it.
And then that one room was pretty small. And then everywhere was like, well, it's going to be too dark with the barnwood. I'm like, no,
It will not.
It'll look.
And
Yeah.
like, listen,
Walls were light. Spine was light.
Was it proper barnwood? Or was it a reclaim kind of like manufactured thing?
So let me tell you a story. So when I had my old company, we were taking down a fence in Clarkson. Okay. This fence was 50 years old. This old cedar. So I'm like looking at this, and this is when like barnwood started to become popular. I literally
So it's not split. It's not damaged.
No. So I literally sat there and pulled every single nail, and I saved all the 6x6 posts from that job. And then like I
Must have been a really nice gray patina.
Yeah, it was good. It was, and then the back I have a little router, or not a router, planer.
Planer, and you just
plane the back,
Yeah.
so easy install. And then even the townhouse that we did, I put a couple of the 6x6 as beams in the basement just to give it some character. Like I've done a few mantles with them. Just yeah.
How big was this fence? Must have been a lot of boards.
It was long. It was it backed onto like the hydro field in Clarkson. I don't know how familiar you are with Clarkson, but it was an old lot. Like used to be on the old strawberry farms, because I think Clarkson used to be like all strawberry raspberry farms.
Was it really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So the digging there, just butter.
Is it really?
Oh, it's just all sand.
Because it's just all topsoil kind of thing, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, I say like every night when we were doing the jobs, I'd load up my truck with a load, bring it back
See,
to the
that's
house.
like you looked at it and you go, here's a possibility I'm going to use this on one day, and then here's a ceiling treatment that I want to do.
Yeah, and realistically, I used it mostly for my projects, and then just did a couple mantles for customers. I'm like, well, I have this piece. Do you want it? So yeah.
But it makes sense, man. Instead of just having a flat, like I understand the contemporary modern style home.
Yeah.
And now what they're trying to do is they'll do the slightly lowered ceiling with the channel that's going to get illuminated.
Yeah.
Right. So they're doing all the cleaner looking trim and ceiling pieces where it's like there are no corners. It's all just floating elements of surfaces.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. Right. But my concern is, are we going to light this to death? Are we going to have accent everything?
That's the thing too, right? Like you're putting lighting in everything now, right?
It's going to happen.
Like it
20
looks
years from
cool
this light.
when like certain applications, but like some people's like whole hallway is lit up. Every single, like just from like the landscaping background, I was kind of taught is with stairs, you do every other stair. You don't do every stair because then it's just like too much in your face, right?
It's
Just
like a runway.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
what like it looks cool. Like, yeah, you take a step and your things light up, but when's it too much? When like, yeah, like you literally have a runway to like where you're walking like the whole way, right? Like I love the way in our business like things are advancing and technologies, but it's overkill with everything.
I think it's
Right?
getting a little bit overkill, especially with sometimes I'm seeing these ultra high end garages with the beehive light patterns.
Yeah, the honeycomb, whatever. Yeah,
I'm like, it's nice.
it's expensive.
Do I spend that much time in my garage?
Yeah, depending on what you do, right?
Because the thing that's inside the garage, if you have one, it shouldn't be spending time in the garage. It should be on the roadway.
Yeah, for me, it's my shop, so there's no cars in my garage.
So if it's your shop, it's great.
Yeah.
So then if you want to do that accent lighting for the shop, then that's wonderful. Hopefully it helps you. Here's the problem I have with it. When you're woodworking and you've got this beehive pattern on the ceiling,
Yeah.
it's going to mess with your
It's bright.
sanding
It's very bright,
and
yeah.
your finishing.
Yeah.
You're going to look at it and going, I'm trying to, I can't see.
No, I agree.
You know
I
what I
looked
mean?
into it very briefly, and then I just
For a wood shop, for me, the way I would design it is I would make the whole ceiling one big light source.
yeah. So you don't have shadowing and all. Yeah.
It's exactly how
100%.
I would do it.
Yeah.
Because now you turn the light on, and now it would feel very natural, like it's sunlight coming down.
Yeah.
And when you're building something, it's like a constant glow on everything,
Yeah.
and you can see all the imperfections.
And
what
even
you
like
need
I
to do.
started spraying a lot too, right? So I make a little makeshift booth, and then
that hexagon pattern is
would
going
be
to kill
brutal.
you.
Yeah.
It's going to be annoying as hell. But if it's just for beautiful cars, the epoxy thing, and then all the cabinetry and all that stuff, it's great. But the cars are meant to be on the road.
You see that one video? They did that, the whole ceiling. They did the black epoxy, so it bounced off it. And then that was the one thing. They're like, well, like we don't really see it until we're going to get the car. So they literally blew out their wall and made it all glass panels. So when you walk through your front door, you look to the left and you're looking into the garage. I'm like, it's cool, but it's
not cool.
Do you want to look at your
No.
car? Like
Nope.
your car has to be like perfectly clean every time. Your garage has to be perfectly spotless. Like
You're going to get sick of that.
yeah,
That goes back to the line in the sand where it's like you're showing off now.
yeah. And then good luck selling your house.
I don't know how many people would buy
Need
that.
that one customer that's gonna be like, yeah, I want that. Like
How did the glass, I know what you're talking about because I have seen this before where the wall separating the garage from the house, how does the glass, that must be a special glass because you still have a fire code
yeah,
issue.
Yeah,
That
so I don't
door
know-
entry has to still be fire
yeah.
and
So I don't know how
hinge fire.
thick it was, but
The glass
yeah,
has to
they
be,
had to-
it probably has to be maybe triple glazed,
yeah,
tempered glass in the event of a fire.
yeah,
Because you can't crack it. It has to shatter.
yeah,
And if it shatters, now you got CO coming into the house.
yeah, yeah.
There's some interesting things
yeah.
there, right?
I think it was in the States, but yeah, I don't know what.
Probably. I mean,
yeah.
once you get your occupancy and
And
you
then another thing
pass-
I just thought of too is like, say your garage door is open. Now everybody's like looking right
Looking
into your
right into
house,
your
right? You
house.
have this huge, yeah,
But then again, you really don't have neighbors in that kind of a house, right? Like how close
that's
is your
true
neighbor?
too, right? Yeah,
How close is the street to
especially
them?
in the States, right? They're
Yeah,
they're
it's
big
all
lots,
gated and
nice big
whatever. You're
lots
a
and-
distance
yeah.
away, so but it's all about showing off but it's not practical for a workshop. And I think I would love to have a separate dwelling. Like you know what, you build an ADU, like an accessory dwelling
Yeah,
unit.
yeah.
That's your workshop.
Yeah,
That's what you do.
yeah,
Then you could build all kinds of stuff year round,
Yeah,
heated and all,
exactly.
and then have it properly set up for your wood shop,
Yeah.
right?
yeah. Because right now I just have the double car garage. Kicked
You
all
have the standard go-to trades guy.
Kick the kids' stuff out. I built
Yeah,
a shed for their
exactly.
stuff, right? But
Take
yeah,
the
it's just-
compressor at the end of the workday and just blow
Blow
all the
everything
toys
out.
off
Yeah,
and make sure
yeah.
there's no dust anymore on it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, no, that's the standard go-to.
yeah. It
Or you
works.
get the
It
shop.
works, right?
It works
Yeah.
because the project gets done. I remember we having Paul here from Keene,
Yeah.
and that's how he's got it set up. He's got it set up that way. Even Evan's got his workshop in his garage, and he
Yeah.
has to build things that are based on the size of his space.
That's right.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I'm still do a little bit, but like for a period of time, like around COVID, I don't know what happened. Everybody wanted fireplaces. Like when COVID hit, like I was doing two a month, just like little custom built.
like install a new fireplace.
Yeah,
and
just
also do
like
the
it
mantle
was
and do everything?
mostly electric, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, just like little feature wall with a fireplace and then some cabinetry, floating shelves. So then, yeah, at night I would just build.
TV over the fireplace or TV on the other wall.
Majority of them were over the fireplace.
Yeah, that's what they should go.
I know you don't like those. yeah, just whatever the customer wants.
It
Right?
doesn't make any sense. I don't sit
Yeah.
at the front row of the theater. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
watch TV that way, right?
Well, so the thing with the linears, I always put them low. I only put them 6 inches off the ground.
Yeah, no. If you can get a fireplace unit that's more linear
Yeah.
and lower profiled,
Yeah.
then you're lowering the mantle, you're lowering the TV, you're lowering everything.
Yeah, yeah. So
Which
yeah,
makes sense.
my go-to is just like 6 to 8 inches off
But
the
if you get a
ground.
standard Vermont casting fireplace,
Yeah, so then your TV's up there, and then everybody wants the biggest TV now, right? And then that's what another thing I tell people: don't get a TV that's bigger than a fireplace. It's like you don't want your TV to be this big thing, like an afterthought when you spend all this money on this fireplace. Right?
know
Especially
what-
with the linear ones, at least, right? Like
I
you want
agree
it
with
at
you.
least like
yeah. But then they'll just want the bigger TV.
that's
They'll want like a TV that big.
whatever you
over
do.
a fireplace,
Yeah,
right?
whatever you do after I
Yeah,
leave,
it
that's up
doesn't
to
make
you.
any sense, man. I don't understand.
Yeah.
You know what I want to start seeing in kitchens now is we have it in the boardroom here. Touchscreen vertical TV screens.
Like like backsplash.
Not as a backsplash. I know that a few years ago they were offering that. I was seeing a home automation guy, and he was like touching the backsplash.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that's
to
what you're talking
interact,
about.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I said to him, listen, I got two problems with this. One, the upper cabinet.
Yeah.
And two, I have to stretch to get to interacting with this thing.
Yeah.
No. I want this TV to be just slightly recessed into a wall section that's near your prep station.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
So then it'll be flat to the wall surface,
Yeah.
and you can interact with it. Because the thing is, if you need to bring up recipes, or if you need to bring up something that you want to watch while you're prepping or cooking, or you want to bring up music, you want to listen, you have all this right here, and it's easy to keep clean. And
It's a good idea.
a vertical TV screen is what I want to start seeing in kitchens.
Yeah.
Because that's the equivalent to what we used to have back in my old days is the book stand where you had the cookbook.
Yeah, and then you had so you could open it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now it's like we're in a digital age, so then a vertical TV that has all the access
Actually
to
makes
all
a
your
lot
stuff.
of sense.
I think it, and you could probably pre-program and everything.
Because like every Sunday I try to make crepes for the kids and family, but for some reason I can't remember the recipe. So every Sunday I'm
always got to revert
my
right
phone's
back.
there and the YouTube's there, and I'm always like.
But if you had a vertical screen right there,
right.
almost like an oversized iPad or something.
Yeah.
And you're just constantly doing that. And you know that it's going to have to get wiped clean every so often because you're going to have fingerprints on it.
And then, grocery lists, like add to that, like anything.
Totally.
Right? Like
you could have maybe
schedules or
just as a screensaver that just constantly has you going, listen, pick up this, pick up that. So everyone's aware of it, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe put it at a height. I'd almost treat it like sconces where it's like maybe it's at a height where the kids can get to the lower part of it.
Yeah.
And the adults can still deal with the top part of it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's where I start seeing some.
I think I have a perfect wall in my house for it.
Take the wall 2x4, whatever, and as long as there's nothing inside that wall, just build a little cabinet that just shoots in, and then just it stays flat. It can't be protruding from the wall.
No, because now you're walking, especially when you're walking by, you knock.
Then it's going to be an eyesore, and you don't want that. You want it to be a component of the kitchen.
Yeah,
and it has a purpose to it, right? That's what I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I love that idea.
I haven't.
I know they tried. Was it Samsung tried to do it in the fridges, the smart fridges, where
that's
you can.
Useless.
But it's like
no, it's useless.
And it takes a picture inside your fridge. Like, what if there's a milk container blocking everything right where the camera is?
That's just a gimmick. I think.
That's what I thought. The first thing I thought about was like camera inside the fridge. You have something big. You take a picture while you're at the store. You can't see what's actually in there.
You can't open up the door and just look inside the fridge. I don't. I don't know. Okay, I just got to do the 12 questions here, Carl.
All right.
Anything else you want to share before we do that?
We
covered a bit.
No, we covered quite a lot. Yeah.
When are the kids going to start working? When are they going to get on payroll?
Tomorrow, if they could.
You having a hard time finding guys, or what? That's what I was going to ask you at the very start. I mean, like I got started the same way you did, where it's like a one-man shop.
Yeah,
and you're just building.
Yeah, just had a bunch of trades, right? Just using because for the most part, like my biggest thing is just like giving up the control. Like I want to do the final stuff.
That was easy
right?
for
like,
me, man.
Was it?
Yeah, I was just like, here, you do it. I'll just sit and watch. I won't say a word. I'll just be quiet. For the most part.
The final detail, right? Like I don't know. So I'm getting better.
You got to meet the people that have through the show.
Yeah,
I've met so many people that are far better than me.
Yeah,
1,000 times better than me.
Just got to give them the opportunity.
Just got to give them the opportunity.
Yeah. So these guys, so like I mentioned, like in January we're doing the townhouse, and then there's there's a father son duo that's also in Georgetown. They like just did like some renovations as well, like little things, right? So I was using them as subs, and then when the townhouse hit, I'm like, okay, it's crunch. We have to get this done. My agent wanted it in February market, like so. I'm like, okay, so I was pretty much using them every day, and then eventually I was just booked more jobs. I think just from I was posting every day my progress on the townhouse. So from February, like the phone hasn't stopped ringing pretty much. So then I just approached them. I'm like, I noticed you guys are pretty much always asking like, hey, do you need a hand? We'll help you out. I'm like, you guys a little slower? Like, are you not looking for work? They're like, yeah, you're just kind of keeping us busy, so we're not actively looking. I'm like, so I talked to my wife and then just sat down with them and just said like, so this is what I'm willing to offer you. We'll renegotiate a rate just because if I'm having you 5 days a week, I'll look for the work. I'll provide the tools. I'll provide the materials. You guys just show up, do your thing. And it's been a couple months and it's been working really well.
Good.
They know they work well together because father and son, they've been doing it for a while. And like I said, the young guy, he's very talented, right? And wants to learn.
They take care of a lot of details, or are you just giving them certain details?
So like even right now with the tiling, like I'm letting him kind of just take over, and I'm just like, this is where I'm like actually like pulling back, and I went to another job. I did flooring by myself and like stuff like that. I'm trying not to be
so the same way that you don't really want to do the tiling, you got to start treating the same thing for the trim and other details.
That's right. Yeah. So you'll
find a kid.
Yeah,
you'll find somebody.
He's into everything, right? Like I just noticed he's a few projects we've been on. I've helped him out on their job sites as well. So I've noticed like, yeah, he's good at tiling. He enjoys it. So I'm like, yeah, this is your, like Evan said, he's like, you want to make this cut? I'm like, no, this is your project. Like, I'm just here to help you lift the tile.
There's so many like hurdles for every tradesperson that gets into the industry where they get started as an employee for somebody else. They learn a lot of things,
Yeah.
and they start growing. Then they get the interest to be on their own. Then
Yeah.
they want to run a business, and now they got to start hiring people, whether they're subbing them out or as employees. We all go through the exact same things, man. So you are going to have ups and downs and all of it.
Yeah, it's just trying to retrain myself, I guess, and learn how to manage. Because I was always like pride. I always told customers, like, when I start your job, I'm on your job site. I don't go to other job sites. I don't leave you for 2-3 days with nothing going on. Like, I take pride in that, right? Like, I think that's where I got the repeat customers. So now it's just trying to manage. Okay, there's 3 of us now. I could take on 2 jobs and still make sure there's someone on every job site, right? Like that's my biggest fear. Someone goes to someone like, yeah, he was good, but like they weren't here for like 2 or 3 days, and like like you're working in someone's home.
I know.
Like,
I
most of ideally they're not home. They move out. They go somewhere. They go on vacation.
But they just want to know that progress is happening.
95% of the time they're living there, right?
Yeah.
So like you want to just in out.
Here's a thought that I think that might help you to let go and start hiring more people. Is if you know that you have the job already and you're doing the job and everything's running smooth, the clients are being serviced and everybody's happy, start working on your own personal projects. So get your mindset away from the job that's already running well and start focusing on things that you want to do for yourself now. Because I've always said we have all these skills and we're always giving it up for clients and we're always providing all these services for them. But we neglect ourselves.
Shoemaker without shoes.
So if you start keeping your mind, busy by going, I'm going to build this weekend. I'm going to tackle this wall, that thing, or whatever. Then your mind starts spinning, and you're like, let me take the details there.
That's what I kind of mentioned about we'll see what happens in August. Like that's where I kind of like want to do my floors in my house. But as long as things keep going on.
If it's going smooth on the job site, you figured out how to do it and keep it smooth, and then work on your own stuff, man.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think I heard someone say is does your company pass the fishing test, the 1 week fishing test? Have you heard that?
No.
Like, are you able to step away from your company for a week and it's still?
Where they don't have to reach out to you.
And it still generates money, right?
I've heard versions of that, but not fishing.
Yeah, so that's just kind of what I'm trying to.
You disappear.
Yeah, just
do they still need to reach out to you?
Yeah,
and if they do, then your company's not passing.
And you know how it is. Like if you're a one-man show, right?
How do you do that?
And let's say you're doing like a full house, and then say your drywallers are in there for a week. Sure, you could step away, right? But like if you're doing 2-week projects, 1-month projects, like you can't really.
No.
Unless you have employees or.
So you're not there yet.
Working on it.
Not quite.
Working on it. Yeah.
Working on it.
Working on it.
At Reynolds_by_Karl with a K, reynoldsbykarl@yahoo.com, and his phone number is 416-558-4499 in the Halton area. 12 questions.
Yes.
What's your favorite construction word or phrase?
Approved.
I know, by the client, by the city, by everybody.
By everybody.
What's your least favorite tool?
My least favorite tool? I'm going to say... least favorite tool.
You're all
dull handsaw.
A doll?
Like handsaw, yeah. Like that's
a doll.
The doll.
I thought you meant like a doll. Okay.
Yeah. It's just like the teeth are worn. You're like fighting it, trying to saw a piece of wood.
Yeah, it's brutal, eh?
Yeah. I think that's.
And then
I guess any dull tool, like any dull blade. I think that's my least favorite. Like. Yeah.
Yeah, totally, because it makes makes the tool cry. Yeah. And it makes you work harder.
Yeah. Anything, even like on a miter saw, like if someone, like you're cutting wood and someone goes and cuts a piece of metal and it doesn't tell you, you go to cut the next piece and then just smell the burning. You're like,
change the blade. Yeah. What do you miss from your childhood?
Just, I guess, being fearless.
That's right. Yeah. If we got hurt, we got hurt.
Yeah. Didn't think about it, right?
What construction sound do you love?
I don't know if it's I guess it's still construction. So a wood chipper.
Of course it is.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. When a big log's going through.
And it just ramps up.
Just like, it's
actually kind of nice. I like that one.
I love it.
What's your favorite beverage?
Non-alcoholic tea. Alcoholic old fashioned.
Old fashioned is nice. Yeah. What turns you on and off in construction?
Turns me on in construction is when a customer says, just be creative, do what you want.
It's a double edge.
Yeah.
It's double edge. What
as long
turns
as
you
it
off?
gets approved.
Yeah, that's where you get to approve, right?
What turns me off in construction? There's a lot of things. One of the things I guess would be if you're in the middle of a project and you're like working on this one thing, but you still have to get to the other thing, and a customer comes in while you're working on this one thing. Hey, so what are you gonna do about that up there? I'm like, yeah, let me finish this. So then it's all tied in. Let me. It's like in the middle, just questioning kind of.
We noticed.
Yeah, like, so what's going here? Like, why is this hole here? Because we had to run some wires, and it's gonna get patched. Don't worry, we're not gonna leave your house.
I've been there.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. You know, there's like people just
so many times.
Yeah.
What's your favorite curse word?
Fucking hell.
What's your favorite vehicle in the world? Any mode of transport?
1958 Apache pickup truck, GM.
Oh, I know what you're talking
That's
about.
the one that had the round.
Yeah.
back.
I know what you're talking about.
So my dream.
That's hard to find.
My dream is to get one of those, and that's my quoting truck. That's my dream.
I remember Carlito when he was doing the show, the Mike Holmes show. There was Billy, Uncle Billy.
Mm-hmm.
He had one, black one, matte
So
black.
my old boss had one. Oh yeah, same thing.
Who did I bump? I bumped into Roger Lawson from Techno Metal Post 2 years ago. He bought one.
Yeah.
He bought an old. It was a beater though, and
Yeah.
he took me for a ride, and I was like, "Dude, this needs a little bit of work." He goes, "Yeah, it's gonna be a project."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, no, my old boss, he one of his hobbies was actually buying cars at auction and selling them in transport. But he like this thing was mint. Like he didn't have to do a thing to it.
Nothing. It was already done.
Like even the teak wood in the back, the bed, stunning. Never seen rain. Like.
But you're right though. If you actually get one, use it for quoting.
Yeah, that's it. You just show up, quote with it. That's it.
But then you'll have to. They'll ask you, "Listen, can you just go to Home Depot and pick up a few 2x4s for me?"
Nope. Get it delivered.
Nope.
Nope.
I like that one.
Yeah.
What profession, other than your own, would you like to attempt one day?
What would I like to attempt? I don't know. When I was younger, I wanted to do real estate.
Kind of in the world, in the neck of the woods.
Yeah. Like, I remember when I was just like finishing high school, I wanted to do real estate. My parents' friends or someone like that was in real estate, and he was like talking it up. But then when I said, okay, like I want to do it, he's like, well, you're still like 18, 19, like nobody's going to take you seriously. Just do that maybe later on. And that kind of discouraged me then. But yeah, I'm happy where I'm at. Like I love what I do, but I don't know if I'd be good at real estate. I just something I thought was cool. That like, but when I was younger, it was like, yeah, like these guys like driving a Mercedes in a suit, you know. Again, but
it's all the lying that I don't like about
that's
the
the
real estate
thing,
world.
right? Like it's
Because you discover what's really wrong with the dwelling, and then you go into the gray stage of what you legally are allowed to tell them about it and what you don't want to tell them about it.
Focus on only the features. Like,
so it's like it's the deceiving that I'm not a fan of, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to deceive. It's sales. You're deceiving. That's as simple as. Homes have problems. Every home that's has some age on it has a problem, right? There's no perfect home, and that's why we have an industry. You always need to hire somebody to take care of those imperfections.
That's right.
Simple as that. So, what profession would you not like to do?
Anything that has to do with heights. I can't. I hate heights.
Not a fan of heights anymore?
I can't. When you start to shake, I just can't.
I get a little nervous as I get older now, the higher I get. I'm not like how I was younger, where I was like, I don't care. It doesn't
fall
matter.
hurts, you know? I don't know what it is. It's just like, my knees start to go.
I know. Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
Your family's waiting to say hi.
Thanks, Carl.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate you taking the time. You got to jet back to the job site now.
Yep, back to
It
Burlington.
was good to finally meet, and then we've only been
too.
talking
Finally.
DM wise, but it's always a weird feeling to talk to so much and know so much about somebody.
Well, I think that's what I was saying to you over the phone is like,
when I was talking to you, you're like, "Oh, I'm speaking to you now." And
yeah, it's like watching your podcast is like it was like a one-sided conversation. Like I was laughing like all the podcasts and stuff. Like you never actually met me, right? Like it was like, yeah.
We did a show
Fantastic.
recently with a high-rise guy, David, and he does insulating. And someone sent me a message over the weekend. He goes, "Manny, I was listening to your recent show, and I was like, I wanted to jump into the radio and just shake everything because I was like, I've been in that situation so many times."
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then he loved that I was giving him the Russian email comment about.
Yeah. I listened to that one. That was
And
good.
so he was like going, "It's a good idea, man. I might use that." I was going, "Dude, just use it. I don't know if you want to come up with different Russian names or whatever, but I definitely think you need to have some sort of email as your alter ego.
Yeah, I actually listened to that one yesterday.
That takes care of the issues that you don't want to take care of.
That's right.
But we're all performers.
And
so
like you
myself.
said, right? Like it's whether you're on the other end of it or not, like it still just seems like there's another party involved, right? Take you a little more seriously.
So I like getting messages like that. It's funny
Yeah.
because a lot of people listen to the show and they're like, "Man, I'm like right there. I want to talk to you. I want to say something." So it was just funny talking. Like I still get a kick out of that. I meet people and I'm like, "Oh, I'm talking to Manny." I'm not like, "Dude, I'm just Manny, right?" As simple as that.
The legend.
Thanks, Carl. That's
Awesome.
it, man. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you having me.
We're out of here, man.